Okay, now we're on episode 30, and since we just covered modules, I figured we could cover one of those modules, and that is the datetime module. So a date in Python is not a data type of its own. We can import this module datetime to work with dates as date objects. So it's one word, import datetime. And then what you can do with this is you can assign variables to the datetime now. And that's if you want to display the current date. So what we'll do here is we'll just use our variable x, use datetime.datetime.now, which is a function. We execute that, and then we want to print x. So we're assigning it to the variable x, and that should give us the date and time now. We'll run our 30.py here, and we get my current date and time, which is in a 24-hour clock, so you know, in case you're ever using it for anything. And you might be kind of wondering like why they're breaking this down here, and it's because a lot of programming, you do a lot of things in seconds or milliseconds, and that's why that's important. So as you can see how quickly it changes, that's why. And just to be very technical, this is the microseconds. So you get your day, so the date contains the year, the month, the day, the hour, the minute, the second, and the microsecond. And if you're kind of wondering whenever you use that, I'm sure you're probably familiar with the term frames per second. So just think about that stuff when you're wondering why you would ever be dealing with fractions of a second to such a degree like the microseconds. We're able to also come in here to the x, our variable that we assigned, and we can do something just like .year. Can run it, and you see that we just get the year back. And that's why it's nice assigning to an easy variable like x. Python also has this method that converts datetime to a string, and it's like this. So string f time, as you can see here, and we'll do %A. And you see that we get Wednesday here. Okay, so I'm just going to copy and paste this a few times so we can go over some of the different things that you can put in. Go ahead and save that. I'm going to enter them really quick, so I'm going to stop recording and then we'll just cover them. Okay, so now I've entered a bunch of different ones. You can probably guess what a lot of the letters are, but let's just run the stuff and show you kind of what we get. So with the capital A, we get the full name of the day. The lowercase a, we just get the abbreviation, the WED for Wednesday. And then you see we have %month, we have the slash, %D, slash, capital Y. So we get that there, and then we also have the hour, minute, and second, all capitalized, and that's our output there. And then we get 20th of July 2022 here when we have the lowercase b, which is kind of funny. And then we have the 20th of July with the capital B, and then capital I, lowercase p here gives us 04 p.m., which is just the hour. And that is not in the 24-hour clock like we saw earlier. So we're also able to create date objects with this, and how you would do that is instead of just printing all of this stuff off up here, when we're doing this datetime.datetime, instead of now, we would actually back that up, and the date time is actually our function that we're going to execute. And then we could pass something in, so we could say 2020 January 1st here, and then we're just going to print x, not x.year. So we go ahead, save that, run, and you see that we inserted our own date time here. You can see that it has a default of 0 if we don't enter anything. You can actually enter all kinds of stuff. So you can enter like the time zone, like under T zone, hour, minute, second, microseconds, and they're all optional, and with the default of 0 and none for time zone. And then as we saw, we have that string time, the strf, this one, method right here, which allows for formatting anything into a string. Look at my mouse cursor. And so this is just a little cheat sheet of all those values here, and I'll just leave it up here if you want to copy them. You can like pause the video or do whatever. That's about all we're going to cover here with the date time module, but I just wanted to show you a built-in module that you might find useful, and it is useful to get the current date time, or to put in something like when somebody, say you have a social media app and someone creates an account or someone posts something, it's good to have the date and time that all of that stuff happened, and I'm sure you recognize that value. Thanks for watching. That covers this Python dates video, and we'll move on to some Python math.